What's good, everybody? It's John. Come back at you on a video. So this video, I want to share a very important piece of advice that is applicable to everyone, and this is something that's super important to me. And that piece of advice is this: that I need you, absolutely need you, to make something of yourself. Right? I need you to make something of yourself. I need you to make something out of life, or else you will accept whatever gets thrown your way. Now, this is true because most people in life are unhappy. And most people are unhappy because they've accepted whatever life has thrown at them. And the reason for this is because they were never intentional with the construction or the design of their life, right? You need to envision yourself in your life as, just imagine you have a blank canvas in front of you. And with this canvas, you're able to take any single paintbrush with any type of paint and paint it how you like, right? You have the power to do that with your own life, to intentionally design every aspect of it. And if there's certain aspects of it, certain aspects of your life that you might not be fond of, you have the power to change it. And so because of that, you should still be looking forward to that. That should still give you a sense of excitement and enjoyment, because you know that you're going to be on your journey from where it is that you're at towards where it is that you're going, and you have a power and you have a say in that. But because most people are not intentional with their lives and the direction of their lives, then it forces them to settle with whatever enters their life, right? Think about all the people out there who are unhappy with their occupation, right? And think of these people, right? The people that are unhappy, that are simply working just standard jobs. Like, I'm not talking about like careers where, you go into a given industry and you work your way up the ladder, getting promotions, making your way up. I'm talking about like people who are working, or legitimately working standard jobs, where, for example, like if someone's a cashier somewhere, right? And this is no slight to cashiers or anyone that works, like standard jobs. This is not any sort of video to demean these people, right? Obviously, these people are essential to society. And if you watching the video might work as a cashier and it brings you immense joy, then by all means, like, more power to you. I'm using them as just like an example, how there's so many people who've settled for a job like that because they were told, to go to school, and then after school to get a job, right? And then that's the job that they secured. And they think that they're not good enough to do anything else or to accomplish anything else. And so they sell themselves short and end up staying there. And even though, they're never getting promotions, or they're never getting pay raises, like if they receive a raise in income, that it's only in alignment with inflation, right? So it's never like actual, like, true bonuses and true raises, right? Like, imagine all the people that are in roles like that all across the world, that have told themselves that this is all that they're good for. Or it doesn't have to be cashier, it could be any other entry level role, but you get the idea, right? Like, there's so many people who've been in the same exact occupation for decades, and they've been there because they've accepted that that's all they're good for. They've accepted that they might be capable of something better, but that they don't have the answer for how to get there, or they don't know how they'll arrive there, or they just think that their dream is, a far cry because everyone else around them told them that, thinking big or having a dream is silly, that having a dream is only for a select few people. How silly is that to think, right? That people are willing to, and I understand bills need to be paid. Trust me, I get it. But it's unnatural for people to go to a job occupation or to be somewhere that they dislike or despise for a good chunk of the day, and have it to over and over for day after day, week after week, year after year, decade after decade, right? Like, it's unnatural because that's not in alignment with who you are and with how the universe operates as a whole, right? If you're going somewhere that you're unhappy, then that's a sign that you're not supposed to be there, because that's not, it is a sign that it's not your calling, and that you're not doing what's natural to you, right? Because what you should be doing is something that's fun. What you should be doing is something that's exciting. What you should be doing is something that you can obsess about, so that you can become the best at it. And that is what I mean when I say this, right? When I say make something of yourself, that means find something that you're good at, find something that you're passionate about, find something that you literally enjoy doing for free, something that just makes you so happy, and build on that, build towards that, because we live in a day and age where it's never been better to be alive, because people are creating career paths for themselves by doing what they're passionate about, right? There's people who make a living by playing the game of chess, right? Because they love playing chess, and they've played chess since they were a child, and they go around creating content of them playing chess with people all around the world, right? There's other people out there who make a living by simply traveling and eating, being full-time eaters, right? Because these are people that are passionate about food, that love experiencing other cultures. There are people who make a living, just traveling the world and sharing their experiences with other people. So if there are things that you are passionate about today, in the digital age, in the era that we live in, it is possible for you to make something of yourself. It is possible for you to carve out the lane for yourself, so that whatever it is that you want to be, you can do. You just want it to be something that you enjoy, that you're passionate about, that also delivers value to other people, right? And there's never been a better time to do that than now, because now, with access to the internet, with social media, with everything, right, it's never been easier to connect with other people all around the world. It is all possible, right? And yet most people still settle for less. Most people still settle for the short end of the stick, because they're just not intentional with their life. They either are taking life for granted, or they legitimately feel that they're powerless in this world, when, to me, it's even silly to think about, because you having access to a mind, you have access to an imagination that can create anything. You can create absolutely anything in your mind. So you can use that same creative power to be intentional, to create the life that you want. See, most people use that power of imagination and continue creating the same event over and over and over, which is why their life remains the same, because they keep replaying the same movie that they've always lived and they've always experienced, right? They use their imagination to think of the past, or they use their imagination to just focus on the present. And that's why nothing changes, because they're just focused on what already is and what already happened, not of what could be and what could be created, right? I say all this because I care. I say all this because this is true, and I want to give you guys the truth on this, and I want to give you guys hope. I want to give you guys belief, and to have that desire to want to do that, because it's possible. You can chase your dreams, you can make it happen, and you can carve out your own lane. And if you're able to carve out your own lane, then guess what? You become one of one, so that makes you irreplaceable, right? If you've worked as a cashier your whole life, you are replaceable, because even if you're a phenomenal cashier, most of the duties becoming a cashier is just ringing things on the machine, which for a lot of people will just require minimal training, right? Like, you can get a teenager from high school to do that, right? And that's because, right, like, if a job doesn't require much background, like a strong education to do, or a lot of experience that's required to do the role, then you become replaceable, because anyone can do that, right? And there's people who will work at that as that occupation for their entire life, even if they're not happy there. But they're also not using the time outside of their role to make something out of themselves, to create something for themselves and for the world, right? Like, you were given the ability to create. That is your God-given gift. That is, you are effectively being given divine power, and it's your decision on whether or not you want to use it to begin with. And if you do, you have the freedom to choose how you would like to use it. You are so free to use that power that you can even believe in bondage, right? You can even believe that you are stuck in the position that you're currently in and there's nothing you can do about it. You can believe that because there's a lot of people that do. And so if they believe that, then they're just going to be thinking about the past and the present. And if they want their future to change, then it won't, because they're just fixated on the present and the past rather than using their gift to create the future, to create a brand new life for them, right? And this element of being intentional, this is for all areas, right? If you're not intentional with how you want your body to look, then guess what? It'll look like, it'll change into whatever shape, right? Because you're just gonna eat whatever you feel like and you're gonna eat whatever you're in the mood for. But if you're more intentional about living a healthier lifestyle, right, you're probably gonna be more restrictive with what you eat, or more intentional about what you eat, right? You're probably gonna substitute more vegetables and fruits and drink more water, right, to make sure you have a healthier lifestyle, healthier diet, right? This is for all areas. If you're intentional about looking your best physically, right, then you'll probably do physical fitness. You'll probably make sure you are always well groomed, right? That's being intentional, right? If you're not intentional, then you're just gonna accept whatever life throws at you. And I've noticed that that's the case for many people, right? They just hear, oh, the economy's bad, this over here is bad, and so they think that like there are no opportunities available. But if everyone thought that there's no opportunity available, then no one's gonna take action. And then the few people that do take action are pretty much effectively guaranteed to win because nobody else is doing it, right? So you can see how this is all a chain reaction, how it's all connected. So once again, I just want to highlight the main idea of this video is to make something of yourself. I don't want to continue having to see talent go to waste or potential go to waste because people can have a goal, a dream, and then that idea gets shut down by a small mind, or the person who's a big dreamer gets persuaded by someone else who, either didn't believe in their own dreams because they didn't think it was possible, shot down their own dream, or was just projecting their insecurity onto someone else. Right? I just don't want to continue seeing wasted talent, wasted potential. I want to see people who are happy, who are thriving, because what you need to remember is happiness is your birthright, right? Because we were put here on this earth to experience joy. That's the goal. That's the reason why we were here in this existence, to have fun, to enjoy ourselves. So that's one of our birthrights. And our other birthright is abundance, is wealth in all areas. It's happiness, health, and wealth, right? These are all our birthrights. And most people lack all of them because they are not intentional with their creation. They just accept whatever gets thrown at them, and they accept their reality as a prison sentence, right? They accept their reality as how things are going to be because it just feels so real, and they're just fixated on the present moment. When you need to remember is where you're at, or your present reality, all that is just a set of circumstances, and your circumstances are subject to change, and they're subject to change. That is always going to be up to you whether you decide you want to change something. Most people either feel as though they don't have the power to change it, or they just don't feel like making any changes even though they're unhappy. And so if you're unhappy about something and you also don't choose to make any changes about it, then whether that person wants to admit it or not, they're content in their situation, they're content where they're at, right? Because if you were actually not happy about something, you would make some sort of change about it, right? So just remember, make something of yourself, make something out of this lifetime, or else you'll accept whatever life gets thrown at you. If you don't make anything of yourself, if you don't try to bring out the best version of yourself, if you don't try to help other people and create something great, to create something for the world, create something that other people get to use, right? If you don't tap into the divine power that you were given from birth, then you are unfortunately going to be fighting for the breadcrumbs and the scraps that society will leave you, right? And once again, that goes against our birthrights of having happiness, health, wealth, abundance, right? All these things that is that these are our rights, right? Most people, they accept whatever life throws at them because they are not intentional with the creation of their life. And so I want you to be intentional with all areas of your life. I want you to have a positive attitude, to start thinking highly about yourself, start thinking that you are capable, and start eliminating negative thoughts and limiting beliefs, right? If in this lifetime, we as humans, our potential is unlimited, right? So we could be, do, or have anything in this lifetime. So if you know that you could be, do, or have anything in this lifetime because you can create anything in your mind, why would you settle for what you're already receiving if you're unhappy? Or why would you settle for everything that you've had in the past? Why wouldn't you want and desire more? Or why wouldn't you want and desire what could be in the future? Or why wouldn't you desire the things that you could create for yourself, right? Most people, I think, they just live their life oblivious to that truth and to that fact. And so because of it, they just accept what everyone else is getting. They just accept it and just say, oh, well, this is what everyone else is doing. This is life. And they throw their hands up and say it is what it is. But it's not just life, right? You can really make something out of yourself. You can really be, you can find something you enjoy and be exceptional at. It doesn't matter if watching movies is what makes you blissfully happy. Like if you absolutely love watching movies more than anything on the planet, you can end up being a movie critic. You can end up being someone that like people go to for legitimate reviews for movies, right? Like you can create a career path for yourself. You can create and carve out your own path for anything, because everything in this society is useful and needed, right? That's how it all works. So I want you to reflect on your own life, reflect on what it is that you want to become, or where it is that you want to go, and work towards that. Even if it's taking baby steps each and every day, right? Begin spending more time doing the things that you're passionate about, and spend more time reading, spend more time learning, thinking, growing, right? Most people remain the same person because they don't ever learn anything new. And you need to feed, the same way you feed your body to stay alive, you need to feed your mind. You need to challenge your mind. You need to think. You need to read things that are going to give you, or are going to stimulate your mind intellectually, right? Like you need all of this to continue growing and becoming the best version of yourself, to reach your goals and your dreams. You need to continue investing in yourself, right? Most people, they forget to invest in themselves, even though it's the greatest investment they can make, and they just let themselves rot away when you have the potential to be, do, or have anything. If you can be, do, or have anything, why would you ever accept less? Why would you ever just settle for the breadcrumbs or the scraps that society is going to give you, right? Make something of yourself so that you can find something that you can strive to be the best at. And once you become the best at that, you've created your own lane, and now you've become irreplaceable. So it's going to be inevitable for you to succeed. It's going to be inevitable to have fun. And then guess what? You've created a life that you've dreamed of, and the life that you've always wanted. So that wraps up the video. If you enjoyed the video, do leave a like and subscribe as we're on the road to a million subscriber, guys. So once again, it's Joel, and I'm out. I'll see you guys for the next video.